The month of May was really hard for me and was marked by chronic pain. Reflecting back on it, I was literally in pain for every single day except for one. Given that the theme for May was stress management, I was tested in every way with managing my stress. Due to this pinched nerve in my shoulder, I was very limited in my mobility, so as a result, I ended up neglecting many of my duties and obligations, and my work suffered, my house was a mess and cluttered, and I felt like all the progress that I was making in terms of the happiness project was unraveling. The pinched nerve was impacting my sleep since my arm was in major pain every single night, and I'd wake up to pain all the way to my fingers. Not getting enough sleep impacted my mood for obvious reasons, and I was more reactive but also very low in energy from lack of sleep. In case you're wondering, I have made multiple attempts to getting better. I've gone to physical therapy, I've tried various stretches and exercises, I've tried massage, and I've taken supplements, but none have helped so far. I'm sure there's more I can do, but I haven't found that thing yet. My experience the past month made me realize how fragile we are as humans and how easily our life can take a turn, and the importance of focusing on what's working in our lives and still being grateful since life can always be worse. I began noticing the little things I was able to do and appreciating my right arm for compensating for what my left arm was too weak to do. I was also grateful for my legs for carrying me and not causing me more pain. And I was also grateful for my neck for not being too stiff and hurting. So May did teach me to be more grateful, but looking forward to June, I'm reminded of how chronic pain can lead to uncertainty and anxiety as well as depression. June is also a month of family vacations and traveling, which can also create anxiety for some. So June can be another month that can severely test us in many ways. For June, we're going to focus on managing anxiety, embracing uncertainty, and learning how to stay grounded, whether the stress is coming from family vacations, chronic pain, world events, or the challenges that we face every day. If you're new to this podcast, hi, I'm Dr. Nafisa Sekandari, and I'm a licensed clinical psychologist specializing in anxiety-based disorders. This year, I'm also taking on the Happiness Project, a project based on a book by Gretchen Rubin. My goal for this project is to see if making small changes monthly can create more happiness in our lives for the whole year. Every month I've been focusing on a different theme, and as I mentioned last month, the theme was stress management, and this month we're focusing on anxiety management. It's ironic that one of the reasons I even started the Happiness Project was because of the chronic pain in my knee and back that I was experiencing last year. So thinking about June, I realized that in addition to the regular stressors of life and the end of the school year travel plans, many people are also carrying an additional layer of anxiety because of what's happening in the world around us. Every day we're exposed to headlines about political instability, economic uncertainty, international conflicts, and the possibility of escalating tensions and war, including concerns surrounding Iran. These headlines may impact our travel plans, but it also makes us feel less safe and uncertain in our own homes. When the world feels uncertain, our minds naturally search for certainty. We start scrolling more, checking the news more often, and trying to predict what might happen next. The problem is that the more we focus on things outside of our control, the more anxious, overwhelmed, and helpless we tend to feel. As a psychologist, one of the most important lessons I teach is that anxiety grows when we focus on what we cannot control and shrinks when we focus on what we can. We can't control global events. We can't control political decisions. And we certainly can't control what tomorrow's headlines will say. But we can control how we respond. We can control whether we spend our day doom scrolling or setting healthy boundaries around media consumption. We can control whether we feed our fear or calm our nervous system. We can control whether we begin our mornings with panic or with prayer, meditation, gratitude, and intention. During times of uncertainty, our spiritual and emotional practices become even more important. This is the time to strengthen your relationship with God, deepen your prayer life, spend time in meditation, focus on gratitude, and remind yourself that worrying about tomorrow does not change tomorrow. If you've listened to this podcast for any length of time, you've heard me say that peace doesn't come from certainty. Peace comes from learning how to remain grounded even when certainty is unavailable. And that's the challenge I want us to focus on this month. Not creating certainty, but creating calm despite uncertainty. June also marks 6 months since I've started this project, and I've created a private community where we meet monthly for our live updates on how the past 6 months have played out. We have 6 more months to go, so if you want to join us in our private community for the remaining 6 months, Visit drsekandari.com, happiness-project. So for June, we're going to focus on managing our anxiety about travel, uncertainty about global politics, and how it all can impact our family vacations. I've had several patients tell me how much they dread family vacations because of all the stress involved and the chaos that often accompanies them. What I've noticed is that when you try to control every aspect of travel and vacations, you end up not only making yourself miserable, but making everyone else around you miserable. The vacation is supposed to help you feel more relaxed and recharge your batteries, but you often feel exhausted and depleted from the experience due to your own excessive need for control. The goal of a vacation is to have a roadmap, but also be willing to take detours every once in a while without feeling like the whole trip is ruined. Mental flexibility is the hallmark of good mental health, but anxiety makes us act in a very rigid way about our plans. Everything has to be a certain way. Every aspect of the trip has to be controlled, and we feel like we'll lose our mind if it doesn't go as planned. Sometimes the best memories are created from the trip not going as planned, but anxiety doesn't like that. Anxiety wants control and predictability and certainty. But tell me, what exactly about life is predictable and certain? What areas of your life do you have total control over? Learning to be like a river and going around obstacles is a goal I want us to focus on this month. Be the willow tree that bends with the wind and not the oak tree that breaks in a storm because it's too rigid. So this month, if you're planning a vacation with your family, check in with yourself when you're feeling calm and ask yourself, what can you let go of? What can you delegate to others and what can you do without? Despite your need to do everything, learn to let some of it go and allow others to invest in the trip as well. Allow them to invest time in researching fun places to explore. Allow them the ability to make decisions and contribute to the plans. And allow them the opportunity to take responsibility for something like tagging the luggage, exploring the best public transportation options, or even finding the best places to explore the local cuisine. These vacations can be a great opportunity for learning and exploring. You can assign the kids to research interesting facts about the location and find local museums to explore or find the best activities to learn more about the culture. Make it educational and fun for everyone instead of focusing on all the ways the trip can go wrong. In a recent trip with my cousins, I made sure the kids researched the public transportation in every country we visited so that they knew how to explore a city without automatically booking an Uber. I wanted them to learn about budgeting during the trip and not wasting money on expensive taxis. They learned how to get a Metro card, and then we allowed them the freedom to explore the city on their own. This is a great way for them to test their independence while we're still there to help them should they get stuck. This also creates confidence and problem-solving skills. If you're too afraid to travel, obviously be cautious and not visit countries that are currently not stable politically, but also start praying and meditating and calming your nervous system. Taking time to take care of yourself and calming your nervous system will make you less reactive and less hyper-focused on the negative as well. For people struggling with anxiety, fear is a driving force in their decision-making. I specialize in anxiety-based disorders because anxiety runs in my family, and I know way too many family members that get extremely anxious with travel and vacations. There are several family members that I can never travel with because their anxiety takes the fun out of the vacation. They're so wound up and tense about every little thing that can go wrong that it's hard to relax with them around. They're constantly worried about getting sick or injured while being away from home. I've been sick many times after many trips, but I don't allow that to stand in the way of me making travel plans and enjoying myself while being there. When I went to Turkey recently back in April, I didn't tell many people because I didn't want their fears and anxiety about the war in Iran to create fear in me about my trip. I was also planning on going on a hot air balloon ride in Cappadocia. Although I was nervous about being on a hot air balloon in a country far away, I was still determined to do it, and I didn't want any negativity to make me change my mind. I was very nervous on the bus to the balloon ride, and I found myself praying. But once I was up in the air, I realized how silly my fear was. So was there a risk of an accident? Of course. But what was the percentage? We often hear about that one accident out of hundreds of thousands of flights going up, and we freak out. But that's less of a chance for an accident than driving down your local freeway. If the higher chance of a car accident on the freeway doesn't stop us from driving, Why should a tiny percentage chance of a balloon accident stop me? I did meet a man in Turkey who used to be a balloon pilot, so I asked him what the chance of an accident was. And he said it was a very, very small chance and that balloon rides were generally very safe. I wish I met him and asked him this question before I went on my ride. But that's the case with anything. We need to ask ourselves, what's the chance that something can go wrong? Could there be a chance that something could go wrong? Yes, but how big is that chance? When you look out your window in the morning at a clear blue sky, no clouds in sight, do you find yourself worrying about the chance of a severe thunderstorm or even rain? There might be a 1 to 2% chance, which is very, very small chance, but we know not to pack an umbrella, right? We don't freak out about such a low chance. We need to apply the same logic to our trip. What really helps me is to have a plan and then repeatedly tell myself that it'll be okay if the trip doesn't go as planned and that we will all be okay. Focus on calming yourselves in the days, if not weeks before the trip, by doing breathing exercises and calming yourself down. There are great guided meditation videos you can do from YouTube, and you can take the videos with you on your trip so you can do the guided meditations while you're on vacation. Journal out your fears and then focus on all the fun that you're going to have, and then write down all the exciting adventures that you're going to go on, and then tell yourself that you're excited whenever you have the urge to say, I'm nervous. Create structure to your day. Have a clear itinerary and make sure you're eating a healthy, savory breakfast every day and not overly consuming caffeine, since that can make your anxiety worse. Even though you're on vacation, make sure you're getting enough sleep so you feel rested and calmer the next day. Focus on the areas you have control over and create your roadmap, and then let go of the rest. Be willing to allow your trip to unfold as it needs to. Keep a journal and document the good, the bad, and the ugly. You just might actually be able to laugh about the ugly in the future. Also, since June is the 6-month mark, reflect back on the past 6 months and ask yourself, what's gone right so far over the past 6 months and what needs to improve? How can you make the next 6 months happier? What changes need to happen? How will you know in December that the changes took place? So for June, focus on keeping calm and managing your anxiety, and enjoy that family vacation. And don't feel the need to control every aspect of it. As they say, let go and let God, and have fun. And before we wrap up, I have something exciting to share with you. Over the past several months, I've been developing a brand new 10-week coaching program designed to help women break free from chronic stress, anxiety, overwhelm, and emotional exhaustion by addressing the root causes and not just the symptoms. To celebrate the launch, I'm offering 5 scholarship opportunities for women who are ready to create meaningful change in their lives but may need additional support to make the investment possible. If you've been struggling with anxiety, feeling stuck and constantly overwhelmed, or finding yourself trapped in cycles of worry and stress, I invite you to schedule a free consultation call to see if you're a good fit for the program and whether you qualify for one of these scholarship opportunities. You can learn more and apply by visiting drsekandari.com. I would love the opportunity to support you on your journey towards greater peace, confidence, and emotional well-being. I'd also love to hear from you. You can now directly text us your comments from the podcast show notes, or you can comment below the YouTube video. Tell me if you find family vacation stressful and full of anxiety and what you've done to manage your anxiety. If you want to join us inside the Happiness Project and get through the next 6 months together, visit drsekandari.com/happiness-project. Please share this episode with someone struggling with anxiety related to family vacations. Until next time.